All right, we're back. It's COMP123, and I believe it's week 12, lesson 12, part 4, right? If I'm not wrong, right? Let me see, part 4. Because yesterday I uploaded a bunch of videos. I finished a bunch of videos, 1, 2, 3. Where are they? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there it is. And then the fourth video would be the one we're starting today. Okay, so we're part 4, and we're talking about assignment 7, really briefly. And I'll go into more of that. It's going to be due, if you look at the due date, let's bring it up here. It's going to be due the last week of class. So it's going to be like a little mini project, right? But it's really the last week of class, the last day, which would be the Friday, when it's due. It'll be Friday at midnight again, so lots of time. So the very last day of semester, right? You can certainly do it ahead of time if you have other projects that clash. It's going to be worth 10% of your mark. So that'll bring us up to 80% for this. With this assignment, it'll bring us up to 80% for the entire semester of assignments and tests. And then your final exam will be worth 20, which is where I wanted to get you guys to, right? Otherwise, your final exam would have been worth 30, which would be bad, right? Because that would, push some people into a bad place. So I want to give you the opportunity to work on this stuff. One thing I didn't put in here, which I'm going to tell you guys about, is I want to open it up for you guys to work in pairs, right? So if you guys want to work on this one, it'll be a group assignment, 1 or 2 people. It doesn't say that here, but if you are going to work with somebody else, I need you to let me know and put it up online as an example. When you submit this thing, right, then submit who your partner is. So I don't have to, so not all of you will have marks in the system, like you submit on one Dropbox. I'm not going to make it a group thing, because then everyone's going to have to be groups. So I'm going to say you can do it solo or with partners, right? It's up to you how you want to do it. The reason why I'm opening it up to partners is because there's quite a bit of stuff to do here. And there's some new things that I want you to explore how to learn how to do, right? And you're doing that at the same time you're studying for your exam and everything else. Now, the good thing is the things I put in here is some of the stuff that I'm going to cover on the exam too. So doing this assignment will prepare you for, working with UIs on the exam, because that's what, to me, I'm going to probably put UI on the exam, just letting you know, for the practical piece. All right, so what is this thing anyway? It's called Movie Bonanza Online Streaming. Well, obviously there's no online streaming, right? It's just a simulation, right? That's what you're going to do. You're going to create a multi-form project. So far we've been dealing with one form at a time. We're going to talk about multi-form a little bit today. And that allows the user to select a movie to view from an online video streaming service called Movie Bonanza, instead of like Netflix. The user will select a movie from a drop-down list. We'll talk about drop-downs today, a little bit of all that kind of stuff. And the selected movie will display its category and the cost to stream the movie in separate labels. The application will then calculate the cost of the movie, including taxes, in a separate form. And the cost will vary according to the category of the movie as shown below. The user will be given the option to buy the movie and have a DVD sent to them if they want. These days, there's no need for that. But let's just say, right? For an additional charge of $10, right? It's pretty high, including shipping. So here's an idea. And here's some older movies, for you guys to choose. Like example, Season of the Witch, sci-fi, right? The Green Hornet, The Dilemma, Death Race 2, right? Some older movies that kind of were out when I made this assignment way back. And some categories, comedy, drama, blah, blah, whatever. There's going to be a bit of a menu to put together: print, stream, cancel, and about. You guys did a menu yesterday, so you guys know how to do this, right? The trick is it's going to be multi-form, so we haven't done that piece. So here's the first form. So your select form, you have a drop-down list. This is what it would look like, something like this. I'm giving you some samples so you can look at. Does it have to be exactly this? No. I'm going to give you some leeway in terms of how you lay things out, if your form looks a little different and so on. So basically, you kind of click on here, and then whatever you selected comes into these labels. So you select here, and then whatever you selected, we'll talk about selection, selection items. And here your labels would kind of show what you chose in terms of your movie, right? There's no data component to this thing. So I'm not asking you to like have a database or something crazy like that we're going to access. And then your order form will be another separate form where the data from this form gets transferred to the data to this form here, to order form, right? And finally, your third form, stream form, is almost like a little pop-up menu, message box, that shows, thank you for choosing Movie Bonanza, and your credit card will be charged. Very simple. So really there's two forms with maybe this third one that's just more or less that looks like a pop-up, like a message box. So how do we do all this stuff? Let's go back to form 1. So I've broken it down to form 1 and form 2, like order form and select form. Create a splash screen for the project that includes a company logo for Movie Bonanza. Ensure that the form is displayed for a minimum of 3 seconds. We'll talk about that, how to do that. Add a drop-down list that displays a list of movies available, right? Set the sorted property to true. So it tells you what to do. Add a group box to the form and so on. And then the movie's title, category, cost will display 3 text boxes along with the appropriate labels inside a group box. And the text boxes will be set to read only, right? And so on. So again, what I'm asking you to do isn't hard to do, right? There's a couple piece parts we haven't talked about yet, which we will, right? So you'll have enough to do this stuff for your final. Again, this last assignment, which is due the last week, week 14, right, at midnight, right, can be on your own or with a partner, right? So I'm giving you the option to work with somebody else. It could be a group project if you want to make it that way. It's really your final kick at the can before you go into your exam. So it's good to work with somebody. I recommend actually you work with somebody you want to work with so you get these piece parts. It's a good option for you to learn some of this new technology and stuff that we're going to be talking about, and then you'll be good to go. You'll be ready for the exam. Also, I recommend trying to get all this done before the exam or started before the exam. So that way, you have kind of some practice that we're going to do, because a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here, right? Will I ask you for multiform on the exam? Not sure. We'll see how it goes next week. How you guys are doing with that, right? I don't want to introduce something new like next week that you're going to have to learn for the exam. That's kind of silly, right? But I want to talk about some of that today. All right. So any questions around this? Again, there's some parts that you don't know how to do. I haven't shown you how to do multiforms. We're going to go into that today, right? So we'll do a part 2, open up a couple multiforms, and how we'll talk about how to, show and hide different forms as we go, right? And I'll give you some more information on that. Like I said, day 1 of next week will be kind of the last time I do any kind of things with you. And that'll be the one time. Then day 2 of next week, which is week 13, I'll do a little bit of review, talk about stuff, right? So day 1 would be the Tuesday, day 2 would be the Wednesday. So Wednesday, a week from today, we'll do a little bit of review for the exam, and I'll field some questions, any kind of issues you have. That'd be a good day to talk about that. We won't do any teaching that day. It'll just be review, okay? But day 1, there'll be a couple of things we may have to kind of, I may have to patch up some knowledge holes, right? Put some stuff together, things that you're missing for this last assignment, assignment 7. Okay? The order form, there's a menu strip, there's a cancel button. We'll talk about what a cancel button does. The cancel menu selection and cancel button will close the form using a shared event procedure, right? Well, a shared event is what we've talked about. Shared event handler is what it is, right? The stream button will, it's a shared event, stream form or whatever. And what it's going to have is the stream form, if you look what that is, right? It's basically another form that looks like, very much like a message box, right? But it's not, it's a third form, right? So some stuff we'll talk about. There's also one piece of it that says a splash screen. And what the hell is a splash screen? And how do you do it for 3 seconds? These are the things we'll probably cover early next week. So again, it's very simple stuff, nothing to worry about, and it's all built in. There's a lot of built-in stuff, built-in functionality into Visual Studio, things that will be like a single click. Like you'll notice, you'll be delightfully surprised at how easy it is. It sounds difficult and you've never done this stuff before, but it's okay. Don't worry, we'll handle it together. And again, this is a good chance for you and your partner to investigate, do a little bit of research on your own on how to get this stuff done, right? Because you're not working alone. You should be able to knock this one off pretty fairly quickly if you're working with somebody else, right? So pick a partner that you know that works well, right? If you're going to work with somebody, if you don't want to work with anybody or you love working on your own, you can certainly do that. Again, just to reiterate, if you're going to work with somebody and you submit this thing on eCentennial in Dropbox, I want you to put in there who your partner is that you're working with, because I'm not going to, please don't both submit. That would be kind of weird, right? Because I got out both 2 submissions at the same one, and I'm looking at it, and I don't know if it's going to be, you know, as an example, something that you're doing on your own or with somebody else, and I'm going to mark it the same. Chances are I'll give it the same mark, but you know, I want you guys to have one submission. Any questions around this? What do I mean by partners? I know you guys worked with group. You guys have done group work before, right? Yeah? No? You guys never done group work before? No? Yeah, I need a yes or no here, guys. No? Yes? If you've never done it before, again, how would I expect you to do this? By the way, there's no GitHub component, right? Which means you don't have to use GitHub for this one. However, I recommend that you use GitHub, and it's good if you're working with a partner to kind of, you know, use GitHub. So one person works on a little bit, and the other person works on the other half. By the way, if anyone's not signed in, be a good option to sign in now. Here you go. Okay, so that's it for this. This is just assignment 7. Take a quick look at it again. Maybe you'll have, if you have any questions for me by the end of class, I can certainly try and clarify. But just again to reiterate, this one will be the last assignment before the end. Your exam will be worth 20. This is worth 10. So this is an opportunity for you to work with somebody that that you know and love, maybe know and hate, to put things together for the final.